you've played for a lot of teams.
5.
Yeah. Number 1, would you consider Phil Jackson the greatest coach you've ever played under?
No.
No. Okay.
One of the great coaches I played.
One of
with.
the great.
I had Chuck Daly was no joke. So imagine Chuck had to deal with the characters of the bad boys and make us win.
Right.
Now that's a maestro. I think Phil is great at organizing, and I think Phil taking up on the triangle and trying to modernize it as best as he could. I think that was great, and I think he knew exactly what kind of people he wanted on the squad. My coach, Ted Gustis, I always talk about Gil Reynolds. Barney Davis, my first coach. This dude knew more about basketball than most of the college coaches now. So he was a great guy to play under. And Phil, one, let you, and it sounds crazy, he understood men, and it was a man's game. So you don't really see coaches giving a guy and getting in his face and yelling at him and that kind of stuff. You don't do that in the pros. No, you don't do that.
You played with the Bulls for how many years?
Just that.
Just that year. Right, okay, that's what I thought. So one of the things that you've said that ruffled everyone's feathers was that you wouldn't put Michael Jordan in your top 5.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say that?
What happened with this is fun, with Cowherd, is when I see him now, he looks at me funny. I didn't know why he looked at me funny. I didn't know why he side-eyed me. I think he thought I was upset with him. But I understand the media. And I understand, there's a lot, if there's nothing big going on, you got to make things go on. And he says to me, well, I had just said on First Take, the guy said, well, undisputable, the greatest player to ever play in the NBA, Michael Jordan. And I said, I don't know the greatest player to play in the NBA. And he picked up on that. And he goes, okay, if Michael's not the greatest player, tell me your top 5. Tell me your top 5 players. I said, Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Because Michael's not in your top 5? I go, okay, I'm going to say it again. And I had put Bill Russell in place of somebody. I said Bill Russell, Kareem, because they were big guys. I love Jerry West, and I said between Magic and Bird. And he said that. I said, do you have a problem with what I said? And he was like, well, I said, well, tell me where I'm wrong in that whole consideration. I want everybody to tell me. Kareem, not only was Kareem a great player in high school, he lost, I think, 2 games in college. None in high school, right? Then he gets into the pros. He has 5 championships, 6 championships. He is the leading scorer of all time in the NBA. He fought Bruce Lee and almost won. Right? You got Wilt Chamberlain, who scores 100 points, who literally goes from being this to that. Bill Russell has 11 championships. Jerry West is the whole body of the NBA. That's Jerry West going down there. He's the logo. And then there's Irvin, which, brought the Showtime to the Lakers. So I said, Michael is my constituent. You know what I'm saying? This is my, yo. But if we would have put all those guys at their prime in the room, right, and you would have come in and you would have watched, and from my POV, because we knew how to slow Michael down or how to play against Michael. I know everything. I know he didn't like using his left. I know his fadeaway going right is different than his fadeaway when he's falling off to the left. I know he fakes the fadeaway and goes up and under. I know when he dribbles the ball 2 times, he's gonna put it in his right hand. Like, we knew that. We would count 1, 2, and then run, because if he picked the ball up, we run back. So just, I knew all this kind of stuff. But when you're growing up, and I'm a young cat, I'm looking here. I'm not looking here. I'm still looking at the people before me. So Heard has said that, it went across. Salley doesn't put Michael in his top 10, top 5 or whatever. Michael understands. If you ask Michael for his top 5, he's not in it.
Really? See, I've always just kind of felt like the one differentiator between Michael and all the other players was his like killer instinct to win was just a little bit different than everyone else's.
Good. That's the only time they told you to focus on it. Because the same mentality Westbrook has is the same mentality of Alvin Robinson, who's in prison right now. Same mentality of Bernard King. Same mentality of Sugar Ray Richardson. Same mentality of Marcus Johnson. Same mentality of Larry Bird. I can go down the line. Larry Bird would not let you up. But what's the difference with Michael is Michael came in the NBA with David Stern. When he came in with David Stern, he came in with a brilliant agent, a brilliant lawyer, who realized he had a product to sell. And in developing that product, we had to now make this product the Messiah. In order to get people to worship it, you got to make it the Messiah. Why Michael Jordan had to focus is he saved the world in Space Jam. What other basketball movie did anybody ever overly go to? None. Michael is the biggest face and the biggest thing in China. Michael became the face of the NBA. The Bulls jersey is in North Korea. Not only in North Korea, he's wearing the Bulls jersey, Michael's number.
Yeah.
So when we won the championship, the second championship, back-to-back 1990, Chuck Daly talks about going into Europe and doing a clinic. They had a Laker jersey, a Bull jersey, and they had a Boston jersey. No Piston jersey, and we were two-time champions. Right? Nobody made them and the Bulls had lost, but they had Michael's jersey.
Yeah.
Nike made an explosion. Michael on television. The commercials changed the way we look at it. Spike, we gotten into then not only that, Michael is the beginning of the video game age. So kids were able to be Michael.
Well, I mean, before that, it was, I remember the Magic versus Bird video games and stuff like that, but I guess it wasn't as big.
No.
Yeah.
And Converse wasn't doing what Nike wound up doing. And then we moved from CBS to NBC. So it became Michael's network. and I tell people that because when I was working on NBC, it would be halftime or it'd be during the game. They go, hey, and there's a picture of Michael. Michael Jordan has just entered the United Center. That game is going to be on the American Center. That game is going to be on following this game. They had you locked in.
Yeah. Well, you were on the team when you guys had 72 wins.
Yeah.
Which remained unbroken until just recently by the Warriors. And there's always the discussion of the 96 Bulls versus the 2016 Warriors. If you were to put those teams against each other.
Steve Kerr wouldn't be coaching. He'd be playing. And we would win.
You guys would win.
Without this. And the reason I say that, they go, well, just in case. No, everything you saw is a manufactured remake of what it was. So, like I said, there's Michael and then there's Kobe, right? There's Tide and then there's Tide Plus. And Kobe has the same mentality as Michael, right? Black Mamba has the same mentality as Michael. We would win. Another thing, the rules changed. So no hand checking, no hard fouls, no leaning on a guy.
Became a softer game.
Can't talk back to the ref. I'm not gonna say softer, different. It became more corporate. It's a very corporate game.
Okay. Why only 1 year with the Bulls?
So, Jerry Krause, God rest his soul, called me long tall. Made a mistake in '86 by not picking me. But anyway, we'll get past that. Maybe, if my therapist says so. But he came back to me and said, hey, you're getting $3 million from Toronto Raptors, and you're not really my free agent because we signed you to 2 10-days, and I can only pay you the minimum, $365,000. I go, Michael makes $300,000 per game. Can I at least get 10%? Pay me $1.5 million, $1.7 million. you should give me $3 million. Can't do it, long tall. I said, I can't come here for 365. Well, you're already getting paid. I said, it's none of your business. I'm a good businessman. That's why I bought my rights. So we're negotiating with me. That's why you're not talking to an agent. He goes, I can't do it, man. It's against the rules. And because you took the 210 days, I can't. I said, that's not true. I'm player rep. Jerry, you don't pay me the money. I'm just going to go to Europe. And I went to Greece.
Right.
For
How do you pronounce the name?
Panathinaikos.
There we go. Thank you. I didn't want to butcher it.
Yeah,
so you went over to Greece.
I went over to Greece 6 weeks. 6 weeks. And then I realized I was an NBA player and I came home with $500,000
Yeah.
in 6 weeks.
I mean, in
So
retrospect.
they gave me $500,000 just to sign.
I mean, but I guess what I don't understand is, you laid out the reasons and so forth, but at the end of the day, you have a team that just had the greatest season in the history of the sport. Why would you do anything to change that around?
Go back to it. I didn't do this for fun. I did this as a living. He wanted me to go back and get paid what I got paid my 3rd year in the NBA.
Right.
I'm now in my 10th year in the NBA, and I had literally moved my stature up to getting $3 million a year. The thing that should go to people say, oh, it was just a money thing. You could have won championships. Well, I'd had one championship. That was my 3rd championship.
Right.
He wound up giving Robert Parrish $2.5 million. He played 9 games and quit. He told me he couldn't give me $3 million.
Right, but he gave someone else.
But he gave Robert. So
Yeah.
I didn't do it wrong. I knew what was in the till.
Right. I'm saying, how come they didn't make it happen? Because I'm saying, you don't switch up when you're winning.
Because they didn't think that was going to be part of their nucleus anyway. And they won 2 more championships after that. They had their nucleus. And they wasn't going to pay somebody who was aiding and abetting in this situation. They just didn't feel like negotiating. This is a trip because I'm friends with Jerry Reinsdorf. Like literally had me throw the first pitch out, I hit the dirt at the White Sox game about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And he was like, we should have never let you go long tall because of my mentality of locker room and of understanding the game, not just the basketball game.